Hi friends, we are learning about the circulatory system this week. And so today we'll be coloring in the circulatory system page in our books. And I started mine and we'll look at that in a moment, but it's the one that includes the heart. Remember we learned about the heart and the different blood vessels in our video. But first let's talk about the video. So you watched the Chloe and the Nerve video and I have some questions for you about that. My first question is, if you had to describe the circulatory system, how would you describe it? What would you say if someone didn't know anything about the body and they wanted to know what the circulatory system is? What would you say? What's the big organ that it includes up here in our body? The heart. It includes the heart. And what does the heart do? The heart pumps something. What does it pump through our body? It pumps blood through our body. Do you know why? Do you remember why the heart is pumping that blood through our body? Yeah. Yeah. It's bringing, so there's blood vessels that go all through your body, all the way down to your toes, to your fingertips, up to your brain. And whenever your heart beats, it's pumping blood to those parts of your body. And in that blood, it carries oxygen, which all the cells, the little teeny tiny microscopic cells that we can't see that are in all parts of our body, the blood is bringing oxygen to those cells. It's also bringing nutrients. And so it's bringing those things throughout our body to the places like way down in our toes or all throughout our legs, all through our arms, all over our body. The blood brings the cells in those parts of the body the things that they need in order to live and to function and help our bodies be healthy and alive. So the circulatory system is really important, and it consists of the heart and blood vessels. And there's different types of blood vessels. There's veins and there's arteries. Veins carry blood to the heart. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Okay. You can't hear the letter artery. You can't hear this, but it starts with an A. R is AR. So arteries and away. Neither of them sound like it, but they both start with an A. So that's maybe how you can remember. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. Okay, so I have some other questions for you. Do you know where the blood that's moving around our body, where does it get the oxygen from? Remember, oxygen is in the air, right? So where does our body get the oxygen? Where does the blood go to pick up oxygen? Goes to the lungs, and that's where the blood picks up oxygen. And then it goes back to the heart, which pumps it out to the whole body. Do you remember how big your heart is? They say your heart is about the size of your fist. So everyone make a fist. They say that's about the size of your heart, and you can feel it up here. Like that, you can probably feel your heartbeat. If you put your hand here and just pause for a minute. I can feel mine beating. You can also feel your pulse, which is when you can feel it in an artery. There's one on your neck. It's like you have like, if you feel in your neck, there's like a bump kind of right here, and you put your 2 fingers right in here. And you can feel it, or you can feel it on your wrist too. You have some veins and arteries in your wrist, and if you feel it with your fingers right there, like put your fingers on your wrist. It's another place where you can feel. That one's really hard for me to do. But you can find it on your wrist too. You have to be really still. But it's really neat. Especially if you put your hands here, you can feel it in your heart. Feel it beating. Do you remember how many times a minute your heart beats? You said 60 to 100 beats a minute. So 60 to 100, that's a lot. Okay, let me share my screen and we will look at our books for today. So you'll need to find the page that looks like this with the circulatory system, and you can see the heart, and then you'll see the blood vessels. So arteries carry blood away from the heart, and veins carry blood to the heart. And usually they're represented as red and blue. So it's hard to tell on here which is which. So I'm coloring some of them in red and I'm coloring some of them in blue. And you can do that too. Okay, so color some in red and color some in blue. And you know, something that I've heard before is that when your blood hits the air, it turns red, but that when your blood is in your body, I've heard that it's actually blue. Yeah, that's kind of neat, isn't it? To think of that our blood would be blue, but when it hits the air, that then it turns red. So I colored the veins and arteries in red and blue. And then I'm going to use a black. I always like to use black as my background. And I'm just going to color in the rest of it black, just so those veins and arteries will stand out. And so all that white space is going to get colored in black. So you don't have to watch me do the whole thing, but what I want you to do today is I want you to color in your veins and arteries and color in the background. And I also want you to find someone in your family and tell them what the circulatory system is. Okay, so tell them about the circulatory system and tell them about the different things that you learned about the circulatory system. Okay, so teach someone what you learned today. Okay, so I'm going to end there so I can finish coloring and you can go get started on this and then think about who you'll share what you learned with. Okay, see you later, my friends.